Hi guys. Do me a favor, see whether you can hear any guitar coming out. Can you all hear the guitar? Soft? Is it soft compared to my voice? Can y'all see me? Ooh, it's cool, Brian. Alright, just bear with me for a while, guys. I'm just gonna play something and see how it is. Nada? Now I have nothing. It's so funny. Ooh, what's that? Nice. Ooh. Oh, okay. Hey, how's the mix, guys? Is it okay? Is like a guitar too loud, or what you guys? Well, what are you guys hearing out there? Is the balance between the guitar and the music okay? We're just trying out, so just just fooling around. Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Hey, so Todd, what's your question, Todd? You have a question for me? This is the Tokai ES. What is ES135? I believe. Sorry, the ES110. Yeah, hi, Tim. My love to Tina. This was in my friend's Jeffrey's house for the longest time, and I recently got it back. Yeah, it's basically because I was playing the what you call it, this heritage, right? The heritage red kind of like 335 thingy, and yeah, I kind of miss my Tokai, so I had it brought back, right? To kind of clean up a little bit and change the strings. How you guys doing? Is it still cold? I know that it's still cold in England. Brian just told me it's so cold. Oh, it's heat wave, 26 degree. That's not cold. Someone was telling me like 10 degrees somewhere, right? Ooh, oh, 14. 14 in Fendon, UK. Ooh. Yeah, so Todd, what's your question, Todd? Oh, great question. Um, you know what? I have a couple of capos. First off, just let me hang up my guitar because it's like super dangerous. Maybe I just leave it hanging around here just in case I play again. Which capo was I using? There's this capo. There's this capo that I was using, which is really good. Alright, where is it? I can't find it. Yeah. Okay, things goes missing every time around here. Oh, there you go. Okay, so this one can see this. Right, so this has a screw here where you can actually open up and then clamp it down on your. It's a bit old-fashioned, you know, a bit. Well, a little bit, just a little bit cumbersome, but it's really good because you can actually adjust the position, and then use the screw to kind of like decide how much pressure you want this thing to clamp down your strings, because sometimes when we have like too high a fret, and by clamping down with clamping too hard down, it would make everything go sharp. You get what I mean? Because the fret is kind of high. Or in sometimes capos like this, with springs. You can see a spring here, right? So capos have springs. After a while, the springs will weaken, and there'll be not enough pressure on clamping down, so your strings will tend to go muffle. Yeah. So this is tried and true. I have this for many years. This is bronze actually. It's made of bronze, and I've been using this for many years, especially for guitar sessions, especially in the studio. This I use on stage because you don't want to be clamping down when you're changing. This is like real fast, so sometimes I'll just clamp it on my headstock like this. Right, you can see this. Right, I'll just clamp like that, and every time I need to change, I just use it. Sometimes I'll even like do this, just clamp it down on the net for fast action. Like for example, I'm gonna change key. I know that I'm playing G in this key, right? And then I'm going like gonna go to G sharp, A flat. So I just, and then I'm there. And then instead of taking it down from the headstock, so this is like a little bit more distance. So I climb it down on the so some tricks to learn. Right, hope it helps. What kind of next week we will be 26. That's a heat wave. When I lived in Portugal, it was in the 40s. In 40s, wow. Do you have anything in mind, Brian? Like, G notes are really good. The Blues Boy is a great guitar to have, but I would recommend that you buy the Fullerton Deluxe. Yeah, just spurge a little bit, a little bit more. Well, actually not a little bit more, quite a lot more. It's about what, $700 or $800 difference on my end here. But I feel that it's worth the money to get a Fullerton Deluxe Blues Boy. Tim, have I tried a Boss G55 processor? No, I have not. Would love to. I really like the Boss stuff. I used to have the GP100, if you remember those. Those are from Roland actually. Yeah, and I even own a couple of these guitar synth units, a GR55, I believe. Yeah. Alvin, have you ever tried any unbranded or budget pickups like on eBay? I saw a team of probably gets type for $20. You know what? Like, hey, hi Dara. If you want to buy stuff from eBay, you gotta be prepared to get ripped off. Because there's no way you can tell whether the pickups are for real. If you're seriously looking for a set of pickups, for me it's a matter of like, it's not a matter of the money, like $20, but the fact that if you get ripped off, you'll be so pissed. I would be so pissed. Even if it's $20, even if it's $5, I don't like to be ripped off. So I kind of don't like to take too much chances when I'm buying stuff off the internet. Like for example, this evening I was like shopping for a set of key lights, and I finally arrived at the decision that this key light that I wanted, which cost about $200 US, was the way to go, because it has the things that I wanted. But there are a whole lot of alternatives to it, cheaper brands from China and stuff like that. But Then again, there will be certain things that are missing, and that's why it's so cheap. Or same with any things, any other things like the pickups, guitars, whatever. You basically get what you pay for. So when you're getting something from eBay, you gotta be really really careful. Read the reviews, see what's their rating like. If not, don't even go there. The Seymour Duncans are not that expensive. The Pearly Gates are actually quite okay. They're a good set of pickups. John Wang. Uh, okay. Our Guitar Brothers. I made a decision not to go into politics in this channel because I don't think I want to go there. I'm Chinese, but I'm not from China. I'm Singaporean-born Chinese, so I don't want to get into all this politics, right? John Wang, what to look for in a good Strat? Ooh, what to look for in a good Strat? The look of it has to be pleasing to the eye, so that you'll pick it up and play. Like this Tokai, I missed it because it really looked really good, and I'm just like, okay, where's my Tokai? Kind of reaching out for it. Oh, it's in Jeff's house. Like my Les Paul, it looked good, so you just want to pick it up and play. Like the GNL Comanche, same thing. So it has to look good, okay, and it has to sound good too, right? So you have to kind of like find out what sort of pickup configurations you're looking for: single, 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 double. Or you don't have to look for any other perks like split calls and stuff like that, because I've been playing a lot of pickups, humbuckers pickups with split call, and I seldom use a split call, very seldom. Get a good Strat with a good tremolo arm system. Tremolo arm systems are a different subject altogether, right? The whole traditional 6-screw versus the 2-screw versus the Wilkinson, the Gotos, and the GNL dual fulcrum, Freud rolls. There's a whole lot of topic to cover over there. But a lot of people have the misconception that the traditional 6-screw is so hard to set up that it will screw up your tuning every time you wang that bar. But it's not true. I have proven it time and time again with my made in Japan Japanese white Strat with the traditional 6-screw tremolo bridge, and it stays in tune. So look for a good Strat that looks good, and good pickups, it's pleasing to your ear. And if you're gonna wang that bar, if you're gonna use the tremolo bridge, then get a good tremolo bridge. Make sure that the bridge is well set up. And if you're buying in a shop, make sure that the looseners or the guys in the shop set up for you properly. If you want it to be floated, let them know. Get them float the bridge for you instead of you doing it. So there's a couple of stuff, and then the rest is just about the pricing. Like you could get a custom shop, and that will cost you a bomb. So unless you're really willing to spend that money, go for it. Yes, Brian, you're right. Todd, since Boss was brought up, you definitely need to try out the new SY1. What's that? What's the new SY1? Is it amp? Hi, John Valas. Yes, I have tried, Alvin. I have tried the Seymour Duncan 59. They are sweet. Yeah, so sweet that I might be thinking of changing my Les Paul to a 59 Seymour Duncan, but with the cover, with the nickel plate cover. Hey, hi, Gwenta. Sure. No worries. Thanks for dropping by. Tim, which is better when practicing guitar sitting or standing? I find out that when I switch to standing, I have a little more trouble getting my notes. Yeah, Tim, that's the problem that we all face. Sitting down, playing, and standing up is two totally different kind of situation that you subject your body onto. By body, I mean your hands, your elbow, in your wrist, because when you're sitting down, the guitar is kind of here, right? So it's easy for your hands to kind of like, there's less stress. But when you're playing like this way down, when you're standing up, chances are you are going to have a little bit of problem reaching notes that you normally would not have problems when you're sitting down. And further to the fact that when you're standing up, there's this whole weight on your shoulder, so you get fatigue a lot easier, a lot faster. So every little fatigue in your body would play a part in your response. After all these years of playing, especially doing recordings and all that, guitar playing is all about response, about stamina. Because I get so distracted at times. Like I'll be playing, and then, or if I'm playing standing up, every little thing, like the way my legs are positioned, like I have my right leg on the pedal, and the whole weight of the body and the guitar will be on my left leg. And you know what suffers the most? My ankle, my left ankle. And it has to bear all that weight coming down. So when I'm playing on stage, I try to like kind of like, to my best ability is to set a volume that I'm comfortable with, and I'll just stand on both feet. So to relieve my poor left ankle, that is your body complaining, right? So when you're standing up, you have all this fatigue on your neck and everything. It affects your playing because it makes you, distracted in many ways. You get distracted by the discomfort that you have, and that will affect your playing. What I'm trying to tell you is that when I'm doing sessions, sometimes I'll be like doing this line, and I've been doing this line maybe like the sixth time, right? So I'm just recording and punching, and I want to nail it as fast as possible. But every time you get distracted, like halfway you be thinking of what's the next three notes, and then you get distracted. Every time you're playing, and you just remember what your wife told you during lunch, and you get distracted. And there's so many opportunity of you getting distracted, and that's why it's vital that a guitarist is really stress-free, and when he's playing either on stage or in the studio, that he has to focus, and we have to focus a whole lot, because when the charts is in front of us, the band says 1, 2, 3, and then the count off starts, and that's where everything goes. There's no room for you to be daydreaming and then screwing up the whole thing, and everybody's looking at you funny. You don't want that. Reverend, someone asked me the other day. I tried two of the guitars for a little while. I like them, but nothing too fancy. It didn't caught my eye. It didn't catch my eye. Still don't catch my eye. Yeah, I'm sorry. They're Korean made, quite well made guitars. No, oh no. Those that are made here are priced the American way. GNL tributes are made in Indonesia, but they are priced according to what GNL is pricing them at. Some of these Squires are made, the Fender Squires are made in Indonesia and some in China, but they are priced the way Fender wants it to be. So not necessary, unless you buy off-brand, meaning a independent brand. And again, it's about risk, about you taking risks. And I've seen a couple of off brands, and they're pretty good, and they're real well crafted. But the problem is that these independent makers, they make these guitars for specific reasons, like I don't know, maybe it's a custom made, built to order guitars, not the generic things that you see in the music shop. So you have to kind of like know who are these guys, and Google their Facebook, and kind of know what they can do, and then you can custom make your guitar from them. Relatively cheap. Yep. Okay, Pooh, thank you. So the SY1 is a new guitar synth. All right, okay. I hope the tracking is good. Yeah. And I know that Boss came out with a guitar synth that is like out of this world. So this is the one. Do I like Tokai better than Gibson? Uh, no, I think they serve the same purpose but at different price point. So if I can find, in fact, I'm looking for a 335 copy of a Tokai, a Tokai 335 copy with the block inlays and with the color that I want, and that would be the guitar that I'll be satisfied. I'm actually quite satisfied with this. It's just that the thing that's missing is the block inlays. That would be perfect. What was your first rock concert and band you've seen? Mine was 1981 AC/DC in Toronto. 1981, I was like 21 years old. Yeah. Hi, Mark. Alan. Hi, Alan. Okay, let me just answer Brian first, Todd. My first rock concert was from a local band, a Singaporean band. The band is called Sweet Charity. Kick-ass rock band, model after Bad Company, after Free. Our three-piece guitar player, bassist, and a kick-ass drummer, and a wonderful vocalist. And they would do all the Bad Company songs, and Wishing Well from Free, or stuff from Cream, that was the first rock concert I've seen. I think I was like 16 or 17 years old, right? And we didn't catch no rock concerts after that. Other than that, other than the local band, the only foreign band, the first foreign band that I heard was from Lee Redknapp. Yeah, that was from his album. Is it you? Or is it Mr. Briefcase? If you know the album, right? Is it you? Is it you? That album. And the whole band came down to Singapore. They had only 2 shows in Singapore. I caught both shows because I was such a fan of the album and of him. And there was Harvey Mason. There was who was that? Who was on bass? This killer. I believe it's who was on bass. Who was on bass? Great bass player. Harvey Mason on drums. Then you get what's the vocalist name? I forgot his name. Incredible voice. In fact, the whole band, from the original album was there. Great concert, and I kind of stay for the second show. Thoroughly enjoy myself. I was just there alone. Yep. Okay. It's a count on 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to have the 4, and then it's 1. There's no way you're gonna count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That is for Navy SEALs when you're breaking down the door. So you go on 4, right? 1, 2, 3, bum. Okay, but when you're starting a band, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or 3, 4. Okay, then you go in. So, all right. Okay. Hi, Orion. So sweet of you. Always call me uncle. Hi, Lamb. Meh. Hi, John. I got Square Standard new. Ooh. A few months ago. The first time I played, the 5-way quit working? You mean a Squire Standard? Or what's a Square Standard? Squire, right? I think you meant Squire Standard, right? Oh yeah, I mean it depends, John. It depends on the at the factory. Even G&L have defective guitars every now and then. Gibsons too, all the time. At one point, Fenders too. I guess every guitar manufacturing plant will have defects every now and then. Sometimes it's not because of inadequate QC checks. Sometimes it's, things happen during shipment. Any advice? Tim, I had a video out. I'm gonna put the list. I'm gonna put the link for you. I had a video out about this. How to tell your wife that you need another guitar. Let me search the link for you. So how are you guys doing? Are you guys like finishing the lockdown? Some of you guys are actually free to roam where you choose to, or are you guys technically on semi lockdown or anything like that? Hmm. That's strange. I can't find it. Why can't I find it? Follow what you do. Readings behind. Bridge. Float the bridge. Hey, I can't find it. How come? Well, anyway, do a search, Tim. It's there somewhere. I actually did a video about what to tell your other half that you need a new guitar. Yeah. Yeah. So what was you saying? Um, what I remember from that show was the amount of Marshalls, no Kemper in those days, so just 15, just pure sound. Yeah. Right. Oh no, Todd, he didn't do that. They're so. Does she play in the first place, Todd? All right, Tim, starting to open up. Okay. All right, John, hear you. So you know what, guys? If don't take risks, please. Protect yourself. It's still not safe out there. No matter what people are saying. The virus is still up there. There's been cases re-emerging in China. Okay, there are like a couple of new cases spiking up in China. So China is not out of the woods yet. And so yeah lah, just stay safe. There's no point taking the risk. I'm still trying to find a video. Couldn't find it. Oh, come on. Oh, there you go. I got it. Okay, I'm gonna post it to you. Post the link down for you, Tort. Alright. Oh, Brian. You have no bloody idea what the bloody government is saying, eh? Yeah. Michael, hi, how are you? Maybe a separate video would be best, but what is your basic signal flow and effects setting used to get your smooth fusion lead tone? Okay. I'll explain to you, Michael. If you just hang around for a while, I'm going to show you again what I showed some of the guys the other day. Right? Just hang on. Once I get allow, I'll just bring up the screen grab, and then you can actually see what I do. Okay, the lamb in South Wales. Lots of people seem to be flaunting the rules. Social distancing is patchy at best. They were queuing at the car park for Starbucks. It's mad. I know, it's crazy, huh? Oh yeah. Jan Stuttgart are in Stuttgart. In Denmark, we are about to start working. All of us after the lockdown. Okay. Yeah, okay. But be careful. Stay safe, Jan. Things in Pennsylvania are moving slow, but we're getting there. Okay. Too much traffic here in Michigan. Yeah, I know, Alvin. I have allergies. The pollen count is high. Okay, right. This is springtime. We have family in the south of China, Lishan. I don't know where that is. uh, it's back in old times, not being the times never come back. Yeah. Well, it would get better, I believe. Right now, Singapore is like heading to a single digit for local infections, so that's good news. The numbers that you've seen that are like rising up, dramatically in Singapore are from the foreign workers that are housed in dormitories here in Singapore. So a lot of these infections are from them uh, due to the close proximities that they were living in the living quarters. But the local community is down. The infection new cases are down to single rate, so single digit numbers. So it's good. I'm just hoping that at least we can get back to some sort of normalcy. In our lives. Yes, Prakash. Prakash Raja Gopal. Yes, you own a Les Paul style single cut with two humbuckers. Okay, looking to buy another guitar to get some tone variations. Should I go for single coil pickups or something with P90s? All right, go for single coils. P90s are great if you can stand the noise that P90 generates, because they can be quite noisy. Single coil too are noisy, but nowadays with the modern Strats and modern single coils, they're actually quite okay. You can live with it. I don't work for G&L, but check out G&L guitars before you commit anything on the rest of the guitars out there, because of the pickups that they have, the magnetic field design pickups, MFD pickups that they have on the Strats. Either the Strat like models like the Legacy, Comanche, just take a gander, take a look at some of these models. All right. Okay. All right, Brian, I hear you. Hi, Harry, from Hungary. Wow. Hi, Andrew. Cordell. Do you play covers on your own time? No, John, I don't. I seldom do covers. I just do covers for YouTube. Songs that I love, songs that I've grown up with, and I just felt like doing it, so I'll just do it. Todd, you brought a string on a G&L 3 nights ago and not changed them yet. Yes, it makes you a very bad person. How do you get by just without a string? I have no idea. Alvin, I use a noise gate by P90s. I even use it for metal. Yeah. I mean, you could use our noise gate. Yeah, I have a noise gate in my Helix. But the fact of the matter is that if you have a relatively quiet guitar, that'll be good. Right. Okay, Michael, I'm gonna bring up this Helix interface already, the Helix native interface, to kind of explain to you what I do. This is different from the other preset that I showed you guys a couple of days ago. This is my cleaner preset. Just wait up, it's booting up. Where's this? Just give me a second. I think this would do. Screen grab. How do I do screen capture? Right. I hope you can see this. Wait up. Can you see this? Can you see this? Can you guys see this? Yes, Brian. The MFDs are ceramic, and this the other reason why I love them so much. Okay, let me know whether you can see this Helix native interface. Joe, no, well, I play a bit of piano. I play the fool a lot. I play the mandolin. Right. So if you can see the interface here, basically this is a cleaner preset that I use for some of the fusion stuff. You know, like some almost similar to what I was using just now. Although I didn't use the Helix Native just now, I was using the RK5, the fly rig. Okay, so the signal that comes in straight into the Helix, I have actually a noise gate here. As you can see this is a noise gate, right? You can see the word gate. So I can actually set the threshold, the decay and everything. So I had noise gate from the get-go, but I set it in a way that is not so obtrusive, so that my signal wouldn't get chopped up. The next thing that the guitar has to go through is through a compressor. So I'm using a deluxe compressor. For this patch, I'm actually using a 3.1 ratio because this is like a solo patch. So I would want the signal to be kind of like more consolidated, more together and not going everywhere, like peaks and stuff like that. So I had it set at 3.1, and most of the time I have my release somewhere here, but I don't know why this is here. Okay, I'm gonna set it down here. So it's around here. The next one would be the wah, which I don't use for my Helix Native, but this is the same. I can say it again, this is the same preset that goes into my Helix, my floorboard. So I have a wah pedal if I choose to activate it. Then I have a Minotaur kind of a boost pedal right here, which I did not use because it's not turned on. This is turned on. This is turned off, and after the Minotaur pedal, will go into straight to my amp, and I'm actually using a Cali Texas. So there are times when I use okay, this is my Blues Boys patch. It's almost the same, right? I have this distortion pedal here instead of the wah, which you can switch anytime. But I use a sort of a Fender Deluxe amp here. And it works fine. So it depends on what kind of sound I'm actually getting. If I really want a really clean sound, then I would just probably bring down the drive a little bit. But when I bring down the drive, I have to compensate with the master volume or the channel volume. So sometimes I just leave the drive just a hair, so that if I dig into the string, I'll get like a bit of a distort tone, if I want to. And if you can see my tone control, they are basically around the middle, and I don't actually boost up anything. Maybe the mids if I choose to, but that's what I'm talking about. Whether a guitar is well made, or whether the pickups are good, and you don't actually have to do a whole lot of tweaking with this EQ control, because it just sounds good off the cuff, and just minimal tweaks here just to enhance a little bit. Like I had a presence up maybe 50%, just to have that presence, and a treble, and my bass is basically just right in the middle. But of course, the other thing that this Helix have is IR, impulse responses. In case you guys do not know what are impulse responses, they are actually a sort of a sample of a cabinet that you want, right? For example, you can have a Vox cabinet or a Marshall cabinet of 412s or whatever you want, and you can actually have it sample. And these are the companies that does it. This is from 3 Sigma, so I actually bought the IRs from them, and this worked really well with this amp. And right after that, I have the EQ, which I kind of like, I should say, adjust accordingly to what my ears are hearing. Like in this case, I'm actually boosting up just a little bit of highs, just a little bit of the mids, and nothing on the low end. So basically, this tone is pretty done. I'm actually quite happy with the tone. And then comes the modulation unit. So I have a tremolo here, which I don't use. I will sometimes kick in if I want that effect. I have a doubler if I need to, and I will kick that in sometimes. If you listen closely to some of my videos, you'll see like you'll hear like my guitar solos are like coming out through left and right. So this is a doubler working. Then I have the volume, right? In which case this will correspond to the volume pedal, or rather the pedal of my Helix, and then the time-based unit. So I have a delay, a real simple delay. This is nothing fancy, not like some of the delays you have here, the crazy delays. But I'm just up for something simple, and I'm very careful about my rate, my feedback rate here. So I don't want to have it feedback too much. And the mix is very important too, because like I explained the last time, like if I'm in the studio environment, I will have it down to like what I have here at 25%. But when I'm in a stage, when I'm playing live, I will probably have this a whole lot higher, maybe about 32, 30, right, 30%. And that's about it. And then you have the reverb, and Helix gives you a whole lot of reverb. So I choose to have the plate because I just like how the plate sounds like. So that's it. So this is a bit of run through of what I how I get my tone. I think the magic all happens here in this amp, and there's so many amps to choose from here, right? You get this whole selection of amps to choose from. But finding a good clean amp that has character, it's not too hard, on a Helix. On a Helix, it's not too hard to find. Right? Hope this helps. Okay, Michael, I hope this helps you. Alright, Tim, in my studio office, sometimes it gets so cold, summer's so hot. Oh yes, you know what, there are many times when I complain about Singapore, because Singapore is like perpetually summer all year round. Humid, hot, sticky, at times. But the one thing good about Singapore is that the temperatures doesn't change drastically. Some of you guys are living in extreme weather conditions, like from -10, -20 to what, 32 or 30, or maybe 26, or I don't know. And there's a whole lot of fluctuation in temperature, and that is bad for guitars. I guess many a times you'll find that your tuning start to run because your neck is like going everywhere, and you need like to do constant adjusting. So that's one of the disadvantages of staying in places like that with four seasons. But it's a good price to pay. I would love to stay in the four season country. I've been staying here all my life. Every time I get to travel to Europe or to America or anywhere else, even to Mongolia when it's winter, I'm so happy. I like the cold. Right, so Todd, and so John, at some point in the career you would have used rack? Oh yes, I did. Rack-mounted processors. Do you miss those days? Do you prefer the Helix, and any pros or cons worth mentioning between the two? Weight and inconvenience. Being a working musician, I do not. I'm just a run-of-the-mill studio musician or stage musician. I don't belong to a rock band. My name is not Steve Lukather. I can't afford roadies. I can't afford a sound crew. So everything that I use on stage, I have to bring it myself. It's just me, right? So we touring musicians have to have our stuff all planned out. The other guitarist that I tour with, Sebastian, he's younger than me, like 20 years, right? I think he's about 40s right now, and he is a very efficient young man, because he will plan out what he wants to carry, but he carries more stuff than me. He carries a laptop, a MacBook Pro, on stage with him, other than his Fractal effects, which is which is a Rode case, and his two guitars. So he actually carries more than me. But there are times when he packs up faster than me. It's because maybe I'm old. I just bring like two guitars and my Helix in the road case, and that's it. You know, but you know the amount of wires, and I'm using a separate preamp for my acoustic guitar, so all these things takes time to set up and to break down. The rack system is in many ways convenient, okay, compared to what I'm doing now, because all you need to do is just open up the rack, plug everything in, and you're ready to go. And once it's done, just plug out, close the rack, tow it off, and you're done. But the only problem is that sometimes there's no one to help you to carry that rack down. So I used to have a rack system. It weighs about 45 to 49 kg. Love it. I love it because you know it has my MIDI floorboard all in that rack. All I need to do is just take out the MIDI floorboard, you know, and all my settings are there. You know, I was using the GMP one. I had my Mesa Boogie. What's that? The V Twin. And these are just for the dirty sound, right? Then I had the Roland GP 100 for the rest of the simulations and delays and stuff like that. And I was using an additional delay, the Ibanez delays and stuff like that. So it's nice, you know, you get the sound that you want, but the weight, you know, the weight is crazy, and I have to consider the fact that when I get back home, I have to like lug this up to my apartment 5 floors up, right? So you know, back then the apartment block that I'm staying, the lifts, it doesn't stop on every floor. It stops like stops at what 3, 7, and then 9 or something like that. You know, alternate floors. So I have to like take a lift up. In fact, I have to carry a flight up, take the lift, and then I got to either bring it down or carry up. So it was a chore. And after a while, I just couldn't take it. So I got rid of the rack system, and that's where I started using the first floorboard from Line 6 that I use. You know, XT Pro, if I'm not mistaken. Hope that answers your question, Todd. Can you try the tone wood amp in your live stream one day? No, I can't. Another Joe, this is what I've been trying to tell people. I don't own a store. I wish I do own a store. I couldn't just like you know grab amps and guitars off the air. These guitars have been supplied with the kind courtesy of guys that I know from music stores, or from you know from certain companies. So I can't possibly just review any amps that I want. All right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Todd, you're right actually. Well, some of the components like they will melt if it's too hot. You know, sometimes it affects. Like my GNL guitar or my Comanche, the volume pot kind of seizes up on me because of humidity and you know maybe I don't know. I asked Wayne about this, and Wayne says it's a known problem. It's not because the pots are of inferior quality. It's just that the way the pots are, you know, yeah, the materials used. Paul, Raw H. Nice name. How is your experience with the whole tone or the hot tone Ampero? Have you faced any issues when updating? I'm facing some firmware issues. Do you have any suggestions? Yeah. What issues are you facing? The fact of the matter is that I sold off my Ampero. I had no use for it, so I've already sold off. I mean, the Ampero is not with me. Right? All right, Michael. Hi, Chris. Yeah, I just finished some arrangements too myself. Was doing this simple arrangement for the church so that we can kind of like do a online worship for one song, so everybody will be playing at home. But not all of them have the capability to record stuff at home, so yeah. Your parents are in Dublin. Mm. So cool. Ciao, Steven. Ciao, Signor. Signor? Signori? Signora? Signor? Signor. Signora? Signori? Signori Perioni. Perioni? Ciao. Great to see you. In opinion, if you have limited time, example 30 minutes, it's better to practice skills, chords, arpeggio, electric, or play your favorite song that contains that technique. 30 minutes is a very short time. But if you have 30 minutes, if that's all the time you have a day, my good lord, then you must be a one busy bee. You must be very busy. I would just play music if I have 30 minutes. I wouldn't have time to do what I want to do. You can probably play some music that you like, and then or jam along with a song or with a click track or with a backing track, and kind of like utilize all the things that you want to do, that you want to practice within the song. I think it makes more sense, right? Rather than just sitting down 30 minutes and practicing your scale or your modes. Which Harley Benton model is your favorite? The new Fusion Pro TT, Telecaster, the one with the tremolo arm. Best B, yeah, busy B. Chris, how are things in the Philippines right now? Are you still having lockdown, or are you guys relatively okay? Hi, Renee. Yeah, it's a good idea to buy a Harley Benton Fusion Strat. Um, you know what? Just buy a Strat that buy a Harley Benton Fusion Pro that you like. Like I said earlier on, the guitar has to look good so that you will pick it up and play. And try it first. If the pickups sound okay to you, then don't change it. Don't spend the money. But if you feel that you want something else, and if you know what you're looking for, then okay, by all means, go and change to another pickup. Doesn't have to be Seymour Duncan's. Right? No, Tim. My wife doesn't play. Good and bad. She doesn't play. She's not musically inclined. Alvin, yes, they're fine. The tremolo system in the Fusion Pro are okay, a-okay. I have no problem with them. Those people who complain about having problems, with the tremolo arms or tremolo system in the Harley Benton Fusion Pro, probably have their bridge not set up properly. Yeah. And no, I don't. And I seldom go on holiday, so yeah. When I do go on holiday with my family, no, there's no guitar involved. There's no guitars involved. I try to stay far away from guitars as much as possible if I'm really having a holiday. Yeah, like it's a occupational hazard. I remember back in 98, 97, or maybe around 99. There was a period of time when I was kind of like burnt out, and I would dread like sitting down in front of the computer screen because that would mean that I'm doing an arrangement, right? And I'm like overwork. Sometimes I like do like 3 arrangement a week or something like that, and I'll be playing guitar sessions in between the arrangements, and I would sit down in front of the TV screen of the monitors and just blanked out. No motivation. And the deadline is ticking. I need a song by Friday. Okay, so I'm just sitting down in front of the screen, and I just can't do anything. I just can't do it. So I was really apprehensive about that. And that was after I recovered from my depression. So it wasn't doing me any good. But then again, I found God at that time, so I prayed and I got my inspiration back. So it's pretty cool. Okay. You won't be going out at all, Chris? Prego, Stephen, prego. My pleasure. Which particular song and album inspired you as a guitarist in the early days, Raw? Oh, good lord. I gotta think this out properly. There are many albums that I really love. There's one album I forgot to mention. That's from Stephen Bishop. In case you do not know Stephen Bishop wrote the song "It Might Be You." Um, Great guitarist, great singer songwriter. His first album was Callous, the one with the white cover, and that album was my favorite at that time, at that period, because it had Eric Clapton on guitar, playing a solo on the hit song "Save It for a Rainy Day." But it was Stephen Bishop's guitar playing and songwriting that got me, and I guess it made a whole lot. It influenced me a lot because I kind of like, hey, this is pretty nice. This is really music making. This is something serious. This is no like no hit and run thing. This is like you can tell, you can hear that this guy is really committed to making good music, and that's what I want to do. And that album actually inspired me a whole lot. I just left it out. I don't know why I left it out. But in terms of guitar playing, there are a whole lot. Bad Company, Deep Purple, and this was way before Stephen Bishop. This was in my earlier years. And back then you just want to hear rock music and you just want to go, okay. I didn't even know how Richie Blackmore plays his guitar because I wasn't really interested in that. But after the guitar bug bit me, and then I went for a different direction altogether. I didn't go for the rock bands actually. I went for guys like Steve Lukather, like studio musicians, because I love what they're doing in the sessions that they do, the intricate parts that they do, and how they actually enhance the song by the guitar playing, and that was what got me started actually. Uh, uh, right, Tim. Say hi to Tina. Dara, I would love to be in -0 degrees. Mr. Connolly, fly me out there sometimes. I was in Mongolia at one time, and it was -32 centigrade. Love it. You know, could probably die there, but I love it. Um, Orient Quest, what's your favorite guitar-related scene? Mine's from Back to the Future where Marty plays Johnny B. Good. Yeah, that's one of mine too. But my ultimate favorite, I guess everybody's ultimate favorite, is the one from Crossroad. Yeah, the one with Steve Vai. Yeah, that challenging scene, that challenge scene was mind blowing. Michael, yes, hi Michael from Poland. Mikhail. Okay, sorry, it's Mikhail. Kalinowski, Kalinowski. I hope I pronounced it right. Mikhail Kalinowski. Uh, oh yeah, Little Italy, my favorite song too, with Shaka Khan, right? Brian, I do have a question. My current guitar has quantum stock Ibanez humbuckers. I wonder about having a nickel 2 in the neck and just keep stock. Yeah, you can do it if you want to. Hi, Guitar Jenny. Hi, Yan. Yeah. Yeah, you can actually have a mixed match, of nickels for your humbuckers, as long as they're humbuckers. Yeah. You can even have a single coil if you want to, but you probably got to find a way to cover up that hole. Did the Arrival MTV influence? You know what? I hated MTV when it first came out. I just felt it cheapens the whole concept of music. I don't know why. I mean, what's not to like about MTV? Beautiful, sexy girls and stuff like that. But I prefer to listen to music with my ears and not with my eyes, and it's a different thing altogether. Like sitting down, like for example, that Stephen Bishop album I was talking about. Listening to him sing and tell a story, you know, um, something else. It's like reading a book instead of watching the movie. You know what I mean? So MTV kind of like take you into the visual or format, right? And people like me, we can't really multitask. So I have a problem with that, and yeah, I didn't like it. Even today, I still don't like music videos. I prefer to see, rather to hear an album by its content. Just run the album, from the first song to the last song. I just want to know what the concept of the album is, what the producer had in his mind, what the artist had in his mind when he's writing his songs. Yeah, these are the things that intrigues me. That. Uh, okay, I don't really get you, William. Rakim. Best is anytime. Lister, what? Lister play guitar on red. Oh, okay. I bought the Harley Benton Fusion 2 HRHH White Rose. Okay, Tom, I totally love it. Very nice. Even had a White Rose 1000 tremolo. Yes, highly recommended. Good, good for you. I wonder if the humidity is part of your tone. Humid air is heavier and thicker, which will slightly slow the stomach. Yeah, right. No, Todd. I would love to meet you, man. I would love to meet up with you, dude. We can shoot some shit. No, it doesn't. Humidity doesn't play a part in what you're hearing. I have an air conditioning unit here, so it gets pretty dry here. That's why I have the humidifier running at times. It gets so dry that I can see on my fretboard. It's really dry. Yeah, so it's nothing to do with humidity in this country. Raw? Oh yeah, that's right. Stone Church. Yeah, I remember the scene too. Yeah, it's pretty cool, but there's no guitars involved, right? Any funny experience on live stage? Oh yeah, many experiences, funny ones and not so funny ones. Um, there's one time I was in a band with two guitars. So I have another guitarist, and he's a great guy, sweet guy. He's now staying actually in Hamburg, in Germany, Singaporean, right? So we used to play a repertoire of rock, hard rock, Gary Moore and stuff like that. And there's this song that we played where he would just kind of like he was at the other side of the stage, I'm on the left hand side of the stage, he's on the right hand side. And there's one song where he would run from his side to my side and then go right off the stage to the audience. And you would have this like real long cable, with him. And mind you, this the off stage is where all the tables are. That's where the guests are. And it will be packed on weekdays. In fact, it will be packed on almost every day because it was so hot. That club was so popular with guys who loves rock, and that was back in the '80s, right? This one night he was running across with his cable behind him. He was running across, and I just got out of the way. The lead singer, he was singing in front of the stage with a microphone stand. So he stepped back. He kind of stepped back, and as he stepped back, he stepped on this this cable. So he was flying off the stage, but the cable came loose because yeah, because the lead singer just stepped on the cable. So he was on his knees, but nothing came out. There was no sound, and then he kind of like stood up and just shook his head and just walked right up, and I took over the solo. So it was so funny. Everybody was laughing at his expense. But these are things that happen. There's some nasty things that happen on stage too, accidents and stuff like that. Well, you know what? This is a good question, Daniel Hernandez. No, I actually have no fear of having my guitars been stolen. When we were playing in the clubs, and we were in the basement, right? This club was in like in the basement, and the plumbing, we had problems with the piping, But when I was there one time, and we have a dressing room right at the back, that's where we store our guitars. Well, the sewage pipe broke. Haha. Yeah, you can imagine all that beautiful brown water was flooding the whole changing room, the musicians' room where we hang out, where our guitars are. And I thank God because my guitar was stacked up in a way that is high, so it didn't touch the sewage water. But a couple of guys who had their guitars submerged under shit and urine and stuff like that, so it was pretty nasty. Yeah. No, you can actually use chromatics. I use chromatics a whole lot because sometimes you want to get out the norm. Is there any sound? Can you hear anything? Oh, sorry. Yeah, my microphone is muted. So it's like okay. I'll start all over again. We can use chromatism, in many occasions, but it has to make sense. No point putting a chromatic scale just for the sake of it. So one of my favorite chromatic scale is this in the key of E. Right? And if you're gonna play in the E minor, can do like stuff like don't get yourself kind of like boxed up in a a set way, just kind of like sometimes when I'm noodling, or when I'm just like playing, trying to come up with something, sometimes you can just go. And then you can incorporate bends, so you could do new strings. You could do stuff like that. And do it kind of fast enough. Okay, again. And that's a chromatic drop. And there are many ways you can do it. Or you can just slide them down. So there it is. This guitar is so light, it's so easy to kind of lift up and put on your lap or carry, My wife didn't like the color. I thought it looks pretty sexy, but women. Alright, so I can hear the guitar. Okay, hi, Chucky. Yeah, right? Beautiful tobacco sunburst. Yeah, women, they don't understand that. My pleasure, Jan. No, I don't practice. Well, it depends. Sometimes I do practice with a drum kit. The good thing about me having the show audio workstation with its plugins, that I can actually have like drum plugins, and most drum plugins are additive drums, or what's the other one that's so popular nowadays. Anyway, they all have like built-in beats, built-in rhythms, so you can actually play one rhythm and just kind of jam along, and that's good because it keeps you in time. My timing has gone worse through the years because the bands that I play with actually do play a part. Because if a band is not too wary of keeping time, like a lot of times you hear this phrase like in the pocket. So being in the pocket doesn't mean you are on time. You're just slightly, just a touch, just a hair behind, and that's where the groove is. And many drummers don't do that. So I have the privilege of playing with Jimmy. Jimmy is one of the best, and there's another guy called Gary. Great drummers, and they are in the pocket. So when I'm playing with them, it's always a joy because I have them really loud on my in-ears, and I can feel the hi hats, the snare, and the bass drum. But then, unfortunately, sometimes you get to play with drummers who are like excited, easily excited, so they tend to rush. And when a drummer tends to rush, everybody would tend to rush because everybody's following the drummer. And regardless of whether the fact that your click is running, I'm not saying that he's rushing the whole lot. It's just instead of being in the pocket, he's out of the pocket. You get what I mean? It's like a hair ahead of the beat, and that has drastic effects on my playing. I noticed it about a couple of years ago. Like, hey, why am I rushing? Why am I? I'm not a Russian. I'm Singaporean. Why am I rushing? Yeah. So. How to record noise free? You know what? For the longest time, I had a problem in this place because I used to have like electrical noise coming out of my speakers. That is so irritating when you're recording like stuff like electric guitars or acoustic guitar especially. But the saving grace is that when I was recording acoustic guitar, it was clean. It was clean. It's my mixer. My mixer was having a whole lot of electrical noise, So it's an old house. I've been around for 30 more, 50 years. This house has been, and the electrical system is like old. So yeah, I mean I have my problems, but I kind of solve it. You know what I did? I actually bought a whole lot of those industrial standard power supply with noise suppressors and all that built in. They don't come cheap, but it's a good investment. And both of this, I have two of this. One was given to me by my good engineer friend who was working in Shanghai, and both units are made in China. And Jovi, he's my good brother, so he actually passed me one of these units, and I have no problem with noise anymore. So maybe try to get your hands on one of these. Yeah, one of these noise suppressing. I don't know what you call it, noise suppressing power supply. It has little LEDs, telling you what sort of voltage is going through, and pretty cool piece, pretty nerdy piece of gear. Well, at least the chat is working, so you guys can see the chat now. That's good news. Are you guys all asleep? Oh my god, it's 3 a.m. I'm still wide awake. Something is wrong with me. It's not streaming today. It's not streaming day today. I just got bored, so I thought I'd just go online and see whether I catch any of you guys out there. And there are 30 of you out there. Drop my pic. What? Okay, so aloha, Mark. Johnny Zombie. How are you? So, okay. For your depressing story, right? Yeah. Used to practice a lot every day, but I became burnt out a couple of years ago due to the fact that I lost a good friend. Okay. Time zone, David. And time zone, Daniel. Hey, Ian. I know how it is. Exactly. I know exactly what you're going through. Hold on. Let me find my pic. Okay. I got it. It's always hard to lose someone. The fact that I made that video about depression was because I went through it, and I guess the reason why a lot of musicians are so prone to depression is because we use a whole lot of emotion when we play. When we're trying to kind of project our emotions through our music, and that's why we are more prone, right, to bouts of depression or bouts of sadness, melancholy. But just remember one thing, that life has to go on. You will lose people in a lifetime. I used to dread losing my parents when I was young. When I was like 14 or 15 years old, or maybe no younger than that, about 10. Yeah, I used to wake up all sweaty, having nightmares that my dad and mom was no more with me, and I would like be in a panic. And that was when I was very young, and nobody talked to me about this. Nobody asked me about this because my mom and dad didn't know nothing about this. But it haunted me for many years, And the day came when my dad passed away when I was just 26 years old. He was like 64. So when he passed, I was devastated. because I love my father a whole lot. And but and back then, even at a tender age of 26, 24, yeah, 20, 24, 26, yeah, I knew that this is life, and we'll lose people, we will lose people. And when my mom passed away, like what, 8 years ago? No, 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 5 years ago. Yeah, and it hit me because this was my mom, right? And the fear of losing both of them has been realized. And during that period, I lost a whole lot of people. I lost a great mentor friend of mine, all around the same time. So it came to the point where I didn't even want to go to the hospital because I had this phobia. Like, and the hospital means death. So I understand where you are at, Ian. You just have to get out of it. You don't stay there. Don't wallow in that emotional state, because it's not going to get you anywhere. I remember my army training. Yeah, I was back in the army. My platoon commander actually posed this question to us because I was a scout, right? Reconnaissance. And so he posed a question to me and said, if you guys are on a patrol and you guys get ambushed by an enemy, what was the first step? What's the first step to do? Everybody says, "Oh, we take cover." Yeah, all right, we take cover. Then what do you do? So, everybody was like kind of like stuck for a while, and someone says, "We retreat if we can." And other than retreat, what do? We charge, bayonets fixed, because we cannot stay where we are undercover. And because they'll call in the mortars and artillery, and you get blown to bits. So it's either retreat if it's an overwhelming force, or if you think your chances are 50-50, just go for it and kill those bastards, right? That was what we were briefed on, not trained on, because I was a reconnaissance scout. We don't go charging. In any case, that's beside the point. So I always had that thought with me every time I'm in a rut, in an emotional state. Back then, when I was having depression, I knew how to get out of it, but I couldn't find it because I was so weak. I was so weakened by the whole burden and stress. So when I got out of it, I knew that every time I fall into that rut, I need to get out. I need to move. I need to move and do something else. Keep my mind occupied, do something else. Sadly, a lot of people have. I'm so sorry, Dara. I'm so sorry. Sadly, a lot of people choose other ways out, like drugs, alcohol, suicide, and I find that is a terrible shame. I didn't share with you guys, but after I put out that video about the depression, we lost a young singer, a girl, a female, and she took her life right one day after I released that video. She jumped, and it was because of things that happened in her life. Her relationship didn't work out and stuff that happened. It's sad, because pretty little thing, and she's well loved in the industry, so people choose the easy way out. I'm not going to preach anything, but when I read my Bible, right, the Bible says that the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and that's what he does. He would want to kill you, and one of the ways to kill you is putting all this fear and dark thoughts in your mind. And if you can't find a way out, that's you're at risk. Like in COVID-19, we wear our mask, right, to make sure we don't get infected. But when we get infected by thoughts that comes into our head, what's our protection? So there's something to think about. And why I love music so much, because music is one of the ways, one of the ways to get my mind out of all these dark thoughts and just go and make music. And it thrills me to know, and why I'm so passionate about music. It thrills me to know, and when I know that I'm making a piece of music that feels good, that after I play it, this is good. This is something that I'm proud of. That even though with the shabby playing and stuff, but the whole piece of music that has been translated, it was good. It's good. You can feel it, and I'm glad and I'm blessed that other people feel it too. So do it, Jan. Don't get cooped up in that hole. Get out of that hole. Yes, Chuck. Yes. Um, Smurf. I actually have a couple of, or a couple is an understatement. I have a whole lot of translation of the Bible. My favorite is the New King James, and the other one is the what is this? The NCV version. Yeah, I like those. Yes, Gillette. Well, I'm not really a fan of Tommy Emmanuel, but I do listen to his music. He's a great guitarist. Okay, Live. Hey, Jonathan, do you ever try the Vega Tremor one? Your Strats? They're not cheap, but they're very expensive. And yes, okay, Live. I actually contacted the owner of Vega Trem. I think I should write him another email because I wrote him an email before this COVID-19 thing happened, and he actually promised to send one over to my to you know to me for review, uh, given the fact that it's easily installed. So I don't need Wayne for this. That's what they're saying about this Vega tram that you can actually install them yourself. So I was really interested, and he was such a kind guy. He's such a nice dude. He said, "Yeah, once we have stock, we'll send it to you." And then this COVID-19 happened. Okay, yeah, probably it's time for me to kind of write another email to you, to him. All right. Orange Quest, you're doing dishes. Great for you. Coffee looks good. Yeah, I'm actually having coffee right now. Chris Fudge. It depends. You know, um, you know, that's a nice question because back then when I was young, when I was at 20, 21, there's this girl that I like. She dumped me, right? I was so heartbroken, right? I was so heartbroken, and Chicago helped me a lot. Some of the Chicago songs back then, by Peter Cetera, and they really helped me a lot, and used to cry sitting on my in the dark listening to the song, getting all heartbroken. But hey, it helped me to heal fast, So I actually healed fast and then got along with my life, So yeah, but um, uh, low periods. That's where company comes in. I'm so blessed to have a family that loves me, who I love. So being with them is always a joy for me. Living together is no fun, especially in this lockdown. We are cooped up together in this house. But that's been the way for us. So we got along fine, and I love my girls. I love my son. I love my wife. So company helps, and you know that you are loved. You have been taken care of. But I've lived my life alone, for a while, before I got married. So how do you cope being lonely yourself? I didn't have God then, so I didn't believe in God back then. I didn't have my faith. So you know what I had? All that I have is a guitar, and it kept me company. Not this guitar per se, but a guitar. It kept me company for many lonely nights. Sometimes I would sleep with a guitar. I know that sounds a bit weird, a bit sick, but I would spend a whole lot of time with guitar, and that's the only thing that kept me motivated. You know, I had work. I will work in the daytime, but when I get back home, it will be just me and my guitar or music. You know, I would just sit in the dark in the kitchen and listen to the radio. You know, good old days. Yan, do I prefer Windows or Mac for music production? Mac. I have both systems. I have Windows, I have Mac, running through multiple monitors. I love Mac because of the simplicity that it is, and a lot of good software, good digital audio workstation runs a whole lot better in Mac. Windows are fine if you're a nerd, which I am. So you must know how to kind of troubleshoot. You know what are the components that that doesn't work, the drivers and stuff like that. And sometimes it gets a little bit complicated. You know, so Windows can do that to you. They get you all. You know, but the trade-off is that there are a whole lot of games on Windows, and I use Windows primarily for gaming and for emails and stuff like that. I try not to use anything on my Mac. It's just a strict music making machine, and I like to keep it clean that way. I 38. Yeah, yeah. I was bored, so I thought I'd just come on and hang out with you guys. You always think of Butters singing "If You Leave Me." Johnny Zombie, coffee. I was a tea addict for the longest time. I drank, Earl Greys and stuff like that. And then I kind of wean off it, and then got all the way into coffee. I used to drink all those unhealthy coffee, like 3-in-1 with a whole lot of sugar and milk and artificial sweeteners and stuff like that. That was so unhealthy, and I kind of weaned off from that too, and went to like coffee beans and stuff like that. I would grind it myself, have a drip, coffee pot and stuff like that. And that was taking too much effort, so I went for the pot right now. So I have an espresso. Yeah, so I'm drinking this nowadays, which is not all good, but And occasionally I would drink green tea. I love green tea, Japanese green tea, hoicha. Right? Mm, and you're right, Mr. Connolly. That song was 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 always on my mind when back in those sad days. If you leave me now, the tears would drop. Tears would, single tear would roll down the eye. You take away the biggest part of me. Ooh. Yes, Chucky. Yes, he actually slept. I found that out much later on when I saw his documentary. The funny part is when I was growing up, I never even heard of Jimi Hendrix. No idea. All I knew was this this hippie, right? This so-called hippie, uh, but never heard him play. Never heard his music. I just know that he's a guitar icon that left us too soon. And it's many years later that I found, oh wow, you know, Voodoo Child, that's the riff that is so famous, right? And then go like, oh, that's Jimi Hendrix. But I think I heard Stevie Ray Vaughan first before Jimi Hendrix, and then go like, why is he playing like Stevie Ray Vaughan? And I found out, oh, okay, Stevie Ray Vaughan actually plays like Jimi Hendrix. So, go figure. Cool, cool, Mark. I'm cheap. Raw. I'm cheap playing Total War right now. I'm playing Total War. What's that? The Hunt. Attila the Hunt. I got a couple of Total War, so I kind of like mix and match sometimes. I'll do Rome, Total War Rome 2, and Shogun 2. So I bought it at the bargain because they were on offer. But I play COD, COD, Call of Duty. I played the Division 2 right now, but kind of stopped for a while because there's not much people playing nowadays online. I play a whole lot of games actually at one time. I was playing Arma, ARMA 2. Stopped that too. YouTube, man. YouTube just kind of like changed uh, my whole way of living these days, because instead of playing games, I would go, okay, which video should I make? Which video should I do? What should I talk about? And I have guitars and gears coming into the house, and go like, okay, which one should I do now? Like I said, I actually did a review of the Pot Go. It's all done like a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. I can't release it, until they are available in Singapore. So, yep. Again, I say the Pot Go is a great gear, a piece of gear to buy. Check it out. Go and look at the other videos out there in YouTube. Oh my good Lord, Ian, you're so ambitious. Yeah, go for it. Go for Linux. Another Joe, did you learn your skills when you were young or much later? Skills are young. When I was young, I just learned normal things like the major scale. Didn't even know what's a pentatonic scale. That's how ignorant I was. Like I said many times, my guitar players suck big time in my earlier years. It's only after the Hotel California fiasco happened that I actually kind of like improved and became more serious in what I was doing. But before that, I was just winging it all the time. Yes, I love John Coltrane. Yeah, I mean, these are one of the few jazz artists that I actually listen to. Yes. Yes, Daniel. Yes. I like shooter. What? Guitar Journey. Yes, I like first FPS, first person shooters. I love Arma because it's so realistic. I love the fact that there's no jumping around like Counter Strike. It's really really cool, and especially the World War II mods that they have. Really nice. Same with Division. Division is pretty cool too. No jumping around. Call of Duty, okay. There's still some jumping around, I guess. Maybe not. Yeah, it still is. Right? Still there. Yes, Arma is a classic. I played that game when it first came out many years ago. Yes, Dave. Lanciani. Yes, I have played the Pot Go. And like I was saying, did a video of it. Love it. Alvin, yeah. You played Medieval Total War. I actually bought that game and found out it was such an old game. I actually bought Attila, Total War, Attila, and installed a mod where you have all the medieval, the Crusades and stuff like that. Pretty cool. Try that out. Better graphics. Which DAW and video editor you using? Which camera? RAW. I use a Sony A6400. Sony A6400. I recently purchased a Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens. The stock lens was okay, but I just wanted something because I'm trying to incorporate that Sony camera. This one, I'll show you. Alright, this is the Sony. So this is a new Sigma lens, the 16mm, and this is a monitor, so when I'm shooting myself I can see what angle am I in and what are the lights. Great camera, 6400, and the stock lenses are pretty okay. I just wanted to use this for my live streaming too, so I could get better visuals. What you're seeing right now is from a webcam which I recently bought. Okay, decent webcam for $100 over, but I just wanted something with a little bit more bokeh at the back, so that's why I bought this lens. As far as the digital audio workstation is concerned, I'm actually using a digital performer from Motu, Mark of the Unicorn, old brand. Yeah, I've been using digital performers since God forever. Yeah, and stuck with it because I'm so familiar with interface and I like how it is, the layout and everything, and the plugins. The plugins work without flawlessly without any problem. The native instruments and whatever you have. What else? For my editor, I'm actually using a simple one. It's Moavi. Yeah, Moavi is pretty good. Moavi, pretty simple. I don't want to. I don't want to make my life too complicated. There are many out there like DaVinci and Final Cut Pro and stuff like that. No, the fact that it costs a bit, but there's so many things that is available that it gets a little bit complicated. Like Logic. The reason why I stay away from Logic X right now is because there's so many things there. And I don't want to go through the whole learning curve again. Right. Hope this helped. Mark from Hawaii. I use a Razer Ripshore, not for gaming but for live streaming with my camcorder. Stay at home worship for church. Cool. Yeah. Well, you want to know what I'm using right now? Actually, I'm using a trackball. I don't actually use a mouse. I have two of this actually, but I like this one. This is a Logitech, the new trackball. I'm actually using this for the two systems that I have. I'm actually using it for my Mac Mini, which is what this live stream is coming from, and I'm also using it for my Windows, and that's how I play my games. I don't even move this, I just have to do this. I'm so good with this. Yes, I actually can play my games with the trackball. Yeah, and it's space consuming. You don't have too much space real estate here because with a mouse pad, and it's gonna take a whole lot of space. So Dara, you play Total War too? Yeah. Cool. Cool, Brian. Roy Buchanan. Incredible artist. Yeah. Yes, Jan Ackerman. Yeah. I've heard some of his music. Really nice. Johnny Zombie, do you have a dream guitar or a guitar that you would like to buy? Yes, it's a GNL. I would like a GNL. I hope someone from GNL is listening in. I can only hope. I would love a GNL Skyhawk with the Akuma body, with either the tobacco or the red color of it with the grain showing, and I will want two humbuckers, preferably I don't know, Seth Level would do, or any humbuckers would do with the nickel covers and split callable, so I can split call. I will want a roasted maple neck, and preferably a roasted maple fretboard too. But if it's not available, hey, I'll take rosewood anytime, a rosewood fretboard, or just a maple fretboard. It don't matter. Yeah, that will be my favorite guitar that I'm looking for, and it has to have a dual fulcrum tremolo arm, tremolo bridge there. Guitar Jan, when did you start using computers? Did you use computers in the 90s? No. Wait a minute. Let me think. I started using computers back in you know what? At the start of 1990, after I left my gigs at night, after I stopped playing the clubs and I became an engineer, sound engineer in the studio. That's when I started to dabble in computers. And back then you have like this big floppy disk where you need like 7 or 10 of these floppy disks to install Windows 3.1 or something like that. Yeah, and most of the computers were IBM, and it was much later that Mac came out with the Macintosh, and Atari. You had the Atari. So those were the early days, and yeah, I was basically playing games with it. I had experiences with computers when I was working in the 80s in the offices, but those were like straight terminals. I don't even want to call them computers. They were just like terminals. But in the 90s, in the start of the 90s, is where most of the computers came about. And then you had the nice Mac with the multicolor. What those are? Those are IMAX. Yeah, that was much later on. That was back in maybe around 1997, 98. And I bought my first computer, if I'm not mistaken, in 1996. No, I bought my first computer in 1994, 93. And I downloaded the free software called Freestyle from Motu way before Digital Performer, because Digital Performer was out then, but it was so expensive. So there was this free software that Motu had called Freestyle, and I downloaded that as a basic DAW digital workstation without plugins and nothing. All you need to do is just input MIDI notes in there, and it worked. And I was using the Freestyle program for the longest time, and we did our recordings on many formats, because I was working in the studio, so most of the time we had live tracking. So I would just do a guide track on whatever I have here. Like I had if I'm not mistaken, I have a Roland 8-track recorder. So I would do my basic arrangement there with the drums, the guide drums and everything, and I would just kind of like bring this recorder into the studio with a click track and everything, and track it. And the drummers will come in, lay down their drums, and I will go in and do my guitars and get a bassist to do with the drummer, and that's it. And whatever synth parts that is required is all in that 8-track. So I just have to bounce, just kind of transfer the sounds into the 2-inch tape, and that's how we did recording back then. Yeah, so the computers became a part of my workflow around 1992, 93, and subsequently I bought the Digital Performer, and then we got into the Mac stuff, and yeah, it's been like that ever since. Thank you, Senor Lanciani. Lanciani. Thank you, Dave. Have you ever played a Fender or a Starcaster? Wow. No, I haven't. That's interesting, Chucky. Are they available? Okay. I'm gonna take this down and check it out. Starcaster. Wow, it's an interesting name. By Squire, huh? Cool. Thank you, Chuck. Knowledge, your thoughts on John Mayer? Incredible guitarist, incredible vocalist. Yeah. I like his. There's an album that he had. That's so country, that's so Nashville sounding. I like that album. I didn't like the fact that that he went to PRS and got his Strat made instead of sticking with Fender. But then I don't know the head and tail of the whole story, but I was kind of disappointed in him for doing that. And I tried the PRS Silver Sky, didn't like it. I lost weeks playing. Oh, good Lord. Mr. Connolly, you should know better than that, laddie. Johnny, so are you a roasted maple guy too? Oh yes, I am. I love roasted maple necks. You know what? But the thing that stopped me was because you have to really configure the guitar properly, because if it's not configured properly, you'll probably regret. The other guitar that I was thinking of getting is like a Nashville Tele. And that will probably do fine if I get a warm-up you know. And if I have a tally body, a nice swamp ash body, or whatever wood, exotic woods out there, that sounds good and look great, and have three pickups, right there, and have a tremolo arm, that would be so cool, and a roasted maple neck, that would be like really nice. I can only dream. Right? As long as there's no work, it will remain a dream. Hi, Brian. How are you, Mr. Kim? And it's 12 degree. Oh, good lord, it's warm. Alright. Yes, I like Gretsch guitars. I like the way it look. Um, this whole thing. I don't want to go there about the modern worship. It's like okay. I'll tell you what, Kim, Brian. It's been a fad in a lot of worship bands, hill songs and planet shakers, where everybody started playing a Gretsch, and I always had problem with modern worship, but not all the time. I think there are a couple of nice modern worship songs that came out from Bethel or from Elevation, But it's this whole hype about the visual aspect of it, which I wasn't too comfortable with. I'm old school. I get very uncomfortable when I'm in church and cameras was like shooting the band instead of the lyrics or instead of anything else other than the band, because it'll put this pressure, this temptation upon the band members to kind of like make themselves up a little better, and showmanship, it will slowly start to creep in. And I know what I'm talking about because I work in this line for many years. And when I see this happening in church, I get a bit worried. So I don't want to go there. But yes, Gretsch guitar has been a prominent mainstay in a lot of worship teams, and I wonder why. Because they're not really versatile. The most versatile guitar that you can actually put in the worship platform is either the Strat or a Tally, even a Tally. Strat, yeah, I know. Who wants the wang bar in the middle of worship? Right, but yeah, that's my point of view. That's my humble opinion, right? Villero, have you ever played Dan Electro? Dan Electro? No, I have not. I haven't had that privilege. I would love to. Yes, Windows 95. Oh man, it was before Windows. It was Windows 3.1 when I first started. Number one hit song recorded with Adore was yeah. Oh yeah, right. Raw again. Same questions about PRS. I think this is the third time I'm answering this question. I like PRS guitars. I think the material that they use are really fine. But again, it's about this. I think they're just overpriced. Just like Sir guitars, they're overpriced. And they are meant for a certain market. There are guys who will pay top dollars for guitars like that, but not the working musicians. Unless you're someone who is relatively successful, that you can afford a PRS guitar. Why not, right? But how many of us are like Carlos Santana, or New Sean, for all the matter? What I like about Steve Lukather is that he uses his own brand, Luke. Now is on the third variation, right? So they have the special model, like the family headroom or something like that. And those are really expensive. But the guitars that comes out from Music Man, they are relatively affordable. They're not that expensive, and they're great guitars, well made, right? But PRS is a tad overpriced. A lot of bling, whole lot of bling. You know, that's my opinion. Don't kill me, okay? Don't shoot me. I'm just a guitar player. Cool. Good to know, Mark. I like Dick Grohl. Yeah. Okay. Gillette Wilkinson. When I record something, the door music sounds like it was recorded live, not like in the studio. Any advice what to do to polish the sound? What do you mean, Gillette? I want to help you, but what do you mean by sounding live? More description will help me to help you. Johnny, the re-release the Starcaster as a Squire. I love that idea. Starcaster was very rare. Original was Fender. Cool. I'll check into it. Sir Johnny. All right, Chuck. The classic vibe version. Yeah, you know what? The Squire actually came up with a couple of modified vintage, and all that. That series was pretty interesting. And then they have one that's the alternate reality or something like that. Pretty interesting. Yes, Mark. And you know what? It boggles me and well, not troubling, okay, because I know how it is. The mindset that worship music has to be easily playable, not too complicated, not too many polyrhythms going on. But having this almost the same thing happening for almost every song is a bit disconcerting to me. It's always this 8-note thing, and I just I was like, and this has been happening for many years. So anyway, Alvin, do you use a spanner to remove volume knobs? I'm going to turn my HSS Strat into a hitch. Thinking of buying a spanner. You know what? If you have any one of those, get this tool. This tool is really useful. Okay, you can probably get this from your hardware store. I got mine from AliExpress. That's where I get everything from. It's basically a wrench, right? And it has all these little heads that you can kind of like fix on. So this fits my GNL pot where you have a screw there. It also fits certain fittings like the output jack and stuff like that. So in case the output jack is loosened, you can use this to kind of tighten it. And cheap and good. Proven and tried and proven. Don't use a spanner because you might scratch your body when you're going this way, right? This is from the top down, so less damage. In fact, no damage if you use it correctly. Get one, Brian. Go for it. Get a GNL. Get a GNL ASAT. My teenage self. I would try my best. I would have told myself to get electric guitar as soon as possible. Because it's easier to play, but then again, you know what? The fact is I wouldn't change any single thing in my past. I think the past, my past has kind of sharpened me, or rather mold me to what I am today. So I wouldn't change a single thing. We tend to have regrets every now and then about if things would have happened differently. If I never became a musician, maybe I'm someone. Maybe I'm doing something else. Maybe I'll end up a bum. Homeless. Maybe I'll be dead by the age of 30. Who would know? No one knows. So I'm getting a bit too deep for this. If I were to tell myself when I was young, I would tell myself in the teenage years to learn music seriously, learn how to write and read music, and learn it to the best ability possible. That is what I would tell myself when if I ever have a chance to go back to my younger self. what advice would you like? What do you prefer? What do you prefer between melodic minor or harmonic minor? That's so deep. Um, Alvin, uh, let me learn. Let me find out what is what melodic minor or harmonic minor, and then I'll answer you. Then I actually have no idea what you're talking about. Seriously, I'm not joking. Um, I play music as I feel it, and once you get into this whole habit of thinking in terms of this, harmonic, you know, melodic minor and stuff like that, you are you will get are tempted to fall into that thing. Like sometimes when we talk about modes, if you're thinking about Dorian all the time or Mixolydian or Lydian, and you think about that all the time, your music is not gonna flow musically. It's gonna flow in terms of the modes that you're thinking of. You are what you think. Like what the Bible says, out from the mouth speaketh the heart. So out from the fingers speaketh your mind. So if you're gonna think about all these modes and stuff, you might. Okay, I'm not saying you will. There are a whole lot of players there who, like Robin Ford is one of them, who can think about all that and yet come up with melodious things like Jay Graydon. He can think of all these things. So these are far and few in between. For me, I just play what I felt is the right thing to do, and that's it. Sorry to disappoint you, but I will go and learn what is melodic minor or harmonic minor. Interesting. Yes, Alvin. Lately they have this thing where you have these pads, this ominous pad going on, and okay, I don't want to go there, so I won't go there. Renee, what's my favorite guitar and your go-to guitar for recording? I have a couple. I think my ultimate right now will be the G&L Comanche. Um, and the surprise, the Black Paisley, the Harley Benton Black Paisley. That's one of my go-to guitars for recording. It sounds great. It sounds great on tape, well, on digital, on a door. Once in a while, I'll break out the white Japanese Strat because if I wanted something like uh, a real typical Strat sound, then I would get the Japanese Strat out. But if not, I'll probably use a G&L Comanche a whole lot. Yeah. But you know what? For like country stuff, like if I want to do a whole lot of volume swells and bands, and stuff like that, I would probably break out the Blues Boy too. But I would not use the bridge, the neck pickup, or would use the bridge pickup. The MFDs. Johnny, I love my 80s Japan Square. Such a fine guitar, but it has the vintage sound. Oh, so the high E is very high to make it bendable. What radius do you prefer? Or 9.5. But I can play with a 7.5. I'm used to playing with high action, so it's not a problem for me. Like the Japanese white Fender Strat is 7.5 because it's a what is it, a traditional 50s, right? So follow everything closely to the traditional 50 Strat. So he has a 7.5 fret radius, and I'm fine. I'm cool with it. I just have kind of like raised up the action just a tad so that when you're fretting on a higher register, it doesn't fret out. That's about it. Hi, Kim. It's the knob that I'm trying to remove, so I can use it on another pickguard with a different part. Maybe cheaper just to buy a new knob. Yeah, but some of the knobs are really easy to take out. Just be careful. Don't use a screwdriver. Don't use a spanner. If you want to use something to pry it off, maybe something soft, and always have a cloth going around so that you won't scratch the pickguard, and slowly pry it out if it's those plastic ones. But there are a couple of dubs that has Allen key in it, so look for the Allen key. If it's an Allen key, it's real simple. Just loosen Allen key. It's a small Allen key. Just pry it out. Right? Chuck. Okay, I still have some coffee left, so yeah, I'm gonna stay for about half an hour more. You know, maybe longer. I don't know. I'm just bored today. You know, my mind is still working because I just finished work and I did some maintenance. You know, yep. So these days, I need to get my mind all tired out so that I can just sleep soundly and wake up, you know, and be fresh. Yes, Ian. Glad you understand. Which string gauges are you using? Or the raw? Although the same gauge in Indonesia, sometimes it feels heavy or light. Does it ever happen to you, that feeling? Uh, when I was playing the club, um, I used to use 08s. God knows why I use 08s. They're so flimsy, breaks every time. But they're good for the stuff that we do because there's a whole lot of bending and a whole lot of finger, tapping and stuff like that. And then I switched to 09s, and I used 09s for a long time after I started doing sessions. I kind of thought that a thicker gauge would be better, so I went to 09s. Briefly fooled around with 010s, but wasn't too comfortable with it. I guess it all boils down to stamina. You need a whole lot of stamina to play 010s actually for a whole show. You don't know half of it, okay? Because you guys had it good if you're a touring musician, in your side of the country, because a show will probably last like an hour and a half tops. You have an opening act that comes in for half an hour, and then the main show will be probably 1.5 hours, and that's it. 10 songs, 11 songs, a whole lot of talking. The concerts that we do here are like marathons. I once played a concert that lasted 4 hours. Yep, 4 hours. You did not hear me wrong. 4 hours. The basic Chinese concert is around 3 hours. So, you need stamina to play a 010 for 3 hours. So back then, in the 90s, I was doing a whole lot of shows also, and a whole lot of studio sessions. So I stuck on with the 09s for the longest time. And I was breaking strings every now and then too. So I got really tired of breaking strings. So in the middle of 2000, maybe 2003 or 4, I decided to take the plunge and just stuck on with the 010. So I'm using the Audio 010s all the time. Yeah, until now. So does it feel heavy or feel? Yeah, it does. I am so comfortable with 010s right now that I try to switch back to 9.5. Wasn't used to it. Yeah, so I went back to 010s again. Yes, stainless steel frets for the win. Why? Saves you a whole ton of money. I've seen the fret on this guitar when I was cleaning it up, and it has little dents, especially on the all the way to the 7th fret. It's been utilized that way a lot. So good that this guitar has been played a lot, and that explains why it's so comfortable. But there are dents on the frets, so these are the nickel frets. Stainless steels, you won't have that happening to stainless steel frets. And to refret a guitar is so expensive nowadays. It's a whole lot of work in it. Gillette, is there some guitar solo you always want to learn to play, but it never happened? Yeah, Twilight Tone by Jay Graydon. One day I will attempt that. Great guitar solo. Have you heard of it by Head Transfer? Twilight Tone. Yeah, nice guitar solo. With 3-part harmony by the great Jay Graydon. Alvin, pliers make work too if I'm careful. Yeah, be very careful. What's that? Pascal, life is finished. What? Life is finished? No, we're still alive. The live stream? No, no, no. We're just. This is not a live stream. I just felt bored, Pascal. Yes, I feel bored. So tonight I thought I'd come out and meet my friends. Comme allez-vous? Bien? Brian, do you think lock-in tuners are overhyped? YouTube reviews all seem to be so big on them. Yes, they are good. I have, in fact, a lot of my guitars have lock-in tuners, and it's not because of the hype. I think it works for convenience, especially when you're changing strings. Like this guitar, when I was changing string with this guitar, just yesterday, I had to wind it up, a couple of times to get it all hooked up. And even after that, it still runs because there's still slack. With lock-in tuners, you don't have to do that. Just straight in, lock it, and just wind and pull, stays in tune. That's the only good part about lock-in tuners, right? The other thing is that it might be a caveat is that lock-in tuners tend to be heavy, so you get neck heavy. But if you put lock-in tuners on your Les Paul, great. So I had mine on my Les Paul classic. What's mine actually? I forgot what's mine. Mine is like a different model, right? Anyway, I had that on my Les Paul, so it's balanced right now. Highway Star. Life is on Super. Oh, yeah. How often do I change my strings? So you just change string whenever you feel like it, or just depend about? I will look at the strings. The reason why I changed the string was because this guitar didn't have a change of strings since months ago. I left it in Jeffrey's house somewhere in September last year. So it was sitting in his case. I think Jeff picked it up and played a couple of times. But yeah, the string was old, so whenever I see any of the guitars, they look a bit gamey, then it's about time to change the string. But given the fact that I have to decide whether am I going to play this guitar anytime soon, if I'm going to play the guitar, okay, I'll change it. If not, I'll just leave it as it is. I have boxes of strings, so I buy in boxes. I don't buy in packs nowadays because I find it's cheaper to buy in boxes. And you know what? A fun fact: get strings from Toman. They're really cheap, especially if you buy in bulk. Yeah. Then again, I might be wrong because they have like kind of adjusted the pricing nowadays. Hi Dwight. Hi again. Cool. Brian? How are the roto sounds? Are they expensive? I thought roto sounds are mostly famous for their bass strings. Taught, not necessary because lock-in tuners have many grades. You know, uh, it's a ratio, right? The Les Paul that I did a review recently. The one that belonged to Jeff, the Les Paul Classic, the black ones. That tuners suck. Right? I didn't want to tell it to Jeffrey, but you probably hear it from me right now. The tuners are bad because just a touch of it, and it just goes right off. And I wasn't ready to have that. That's the reason why I changed my Premium Plus Les Paul Classic to the Spätzle. And it's not because of the fact that it's locking, but because of the ratio that the Spätzle has. Yeah, but you pay for it. But you know what? The ones that are from Harley Benton, I bought a couple of lock-in tuners from my Black Paisley. Black Paisley didn't came in with lock-in tuners; they came in with the stock tuners. I bought a set from Harley Benton from Toman. Incredible tuners. Work, nice ratio, no running off the curve and all that. Real nice. Pascal, do I like? Oh, I love Game of Thrones. I haven't watched Breaking Bad. You know, I love Game of Thrones. You know, even the one, The Witcher. The new one in Netflix, Witcher. I love the game. Now I love the series. Orion, where do you buy gear in Singapore? Like, what sort of gear, Orion? Guitars? What do you mean? There's so many, yeah, categories. You mentioned the Les Paul Classic. I love the look. Is it worth the money? Mm, you know what? If you can afford it, get a Les Paul Classic. Forget about the standard and stuff like that, unless you really like the gold top, or get the Les Paul Classic because of the slim taper neck. Uh, I actually went on a hunt for a Les Paul in the early 2000s because I just want to buy a Les Paul. I thought that this would be a good guitar to have. I went to the shop, tried, I tried every Les Paul that it was in the shop in Sweden. The Les Paul standard, the classic, and that's the other one. What's the other one? The studio, and then the other one, I forgot what is it. You guys help me out there. And I found that the most comfortable Les Paul available are the classics because of the slim taper neck. So get that one. It's easy to play. Sounds good. And yeah, it's worth the money if you can get a good one at a cheap price. So there are many of these available in Reverb and in eBay. Look for ones that are like around before 2006 or before 2007, before the whole fiasco happened. Try to look for one. If you can find one in the 90s, that would be great. Mine is 1994, right? I mentioned it was 97. No, it was 94. So that was a good year. And it's non-chambered, weighs a ton, but sounds so good. I'm going to change the pickups because these are the 500Ts at the back and 480 or 460, in the neck. I'm going to change it to a more milder pickups with the covers. Have you seen difference with classic Vibe 50 and 60 pickups? No. Unfortunately, I don't get to play a lot of these old pickups. And what I've experienced are the guitars that I have, or those that I've played. In my time here, like when people give me guitars, pass me guitars. These are the only experience that I have. Not much experience, so I really can't honestly answer you. Looking at a Telecaster with a P90 style neck pickup and a traditional. Oh, cool. Cool. Brian, you should take a look and listen. Again, I'm not plugging GNL. GNL has a model called Tele Special, something like that. ASET Special. Yes, a thicker MFD pickups that sounds almost like a P90, but much quieter than a P90, and I like the tone of it. Fact is, actually, I reviewed one, and I was like, this is another guitar that I thought, yeah, this is a nice guitar to have, So you might want to check it out. Although the shape of the pickup is a bit disturbing for some people, but if you can manage to kind of like hide it with the pickguard, like the one that I played had white cover on the pickup and a white pickguard, so it kind of blend in. It's pretty cool. Yeah. No, no, not a Les Paul tribute. Something else. You have Les Paul standard, Les Paul classic. It is one more. One more. Apart from the studio, is one more. Custom. Yeah, Les Paul custom. So all in all, the Les Paul classic is the most comfortable. Let me see now. Have you tried what? Orion, have you tried riding a road bike? Nope. No. Do you like the Choose Your Neck Classic too? I'm worried because of the lighter weight. I like heavy guitars. Forget about it. They don't even think about it. Get the old ones. You know what? Get the old guitars. My advice to you: get the older it is, the better it is. For Les Paul. If you're not comfortable with the tarnish bridge and stuff, change it. Change it. There are many spare parts out there that are like mimics the old parts that Gibson used to have. There are many companies out there that does that. You got to do your own fair share of research. Just change them. And if the pickup cover is dirty, but most of the Les Paul Classic comes in with exposed humbuckers, so not a problem. Just change it. If the hardware doesn't cut it for you, change them. Get an old Les Paul. My advice. What's that? If someone decides to change the gauge of strings they already use, will the intonation need to be of course? Of course. Or if you have a 010s that you're going to string it to 09s, the intonation is definitely going to run, and vice versa from 09 to 010s. Or if you have a tremolo arm or tremolo bridge, you will have to adjust the tension of the spring too. So, yeah. Oh, really, Brian? $5.99 British pound. That's terribly expensive, don't you think so? That's almost £6, right? Or that's about, well, that's okay. It's about $10, $11 Singapore dollars. Okay, it's quite okay. Yeah, 38, my man. What kind of chair do you recommend for sitting down and practicing guitar? Struggling to find a comfortable chair. I got this chair because I love this chair. This is what is this? This is a secret lab. I'm not gonna plug. You can read the review. You can watch the review I have of this chair. First time I did a review for a chair, and I guess this armrest can be taken off if you need to. I prefer to have it on because you can switch. I'm gonna show it to you. Alright, you can actually have the option of putting one side or but not, this is as far as it go, right? So straight, normal, or back down. So when I'm playing guitar, I have it like real wide, and I'll just sit. I like sitting on the edge of the seat anyway, because the way I play my guitar, I want my feet, both my feet, to be planted firmly on the ground. That's the way I am, even in the studio. So it works for me. I don't even have to take off this armrest at all. Or you're welcome, Johnny. Nice. Hi, Tim. Which part of Canada? Guitar Journey. Ian? Jan? You asked a question? Or what? Jeff Beck been an influence in my playing? Yes and no. The fact is, I don't listen to a whole lot of Jeff Beck. It's only in recent years that I started to watch a whole lot of YouTube. But no, not necessarily a big influence. I guess I'm more influenced by the other guys. Like there's this guitarist that I like a lot from Alan Parsons' project. I forgot his name. Great player. See whether the name can come back. If you guys know, just write it down. The guitarist for Alan Parsons' project. So he is so melodious, and sometimes he use the tremolo, and I'm influenced by that, and some of the stuff that I heard in the 90s or in the 80s. There's this guitarist that is so good, a British guitarist, died of AIDS. He played in a whole lot of songs from Go West, right? We close our eyes, that song. So there's an incredible guitar solo in it, and there was great tremolo arm work. And also, of course, Steve Lukather, and there's the other guy that plays for Kenny Loggins back in the 80s, 90s. Great guitar player, you know. So is Steve Ferris from Mr. Right? Great guitar players back then. And they are so proficient with the tremolo arm. So I wasn't actually. They are probably are influenced by Jeff Beck, but I was influenced by them. And it's much later on that I heard Jeff Beck play, and I go, wow, so this is where it all started. It goes around. Todd, yes. You know what? I used to have a Kayla back in the days. They're great. They're great. They are very well made. They have no problems. Yeah, I remember very clearly that I had a Kayla tremolo arm system in one of my guitars. Which one was that? I forgot. I think it was on my Fender Squire Japan or Tally, with the one with the ebony neck. It's an ebony neck, yeah, and yeah, it had a killer in it, installed in it. Not Jim Messina, Chuck. It's another guy who played for Kenny Loggins. Not Loggins and Messina, who plays for Kenny Loggins. Great guitar player. Yeah, Mark, you're right there. Although he does play slide every now and then. One song I'll beam into space to represent humanity. Get back. Don't come to Earth. Don't come to Earth. It's so messed up. Get back to where you belong. I don't know. To represent humanity. Probably one of the songs from Beatles. Yes, not Imagine. There are a lot of songs that are from Beatles. I had to kind of think it out clearly. Yeah, probably something from Beatles. Yeah. Yes, I love Tom Schultz. I used to have one of his Rockman effects preamp that he came out with back in the 80s. In fact, I was using it for the longest time. I had the Rockman Studio, and that was part of my sound. Everybody was using Rockman at the time. So when I first started doing sessions, I was just primarily using the Rockman. And this was all I brought to the studio, my Rockman and my guitar. Later on, we went for the rack system, and then we bought the choruses and delays and stuff, and kind of built a rack system out of it. Sadly, I got rid of all of them. Just sold it away, I guess, or I gave it away. I forgot. Yeah, Tom Schultz, my hero. Just a question: do you guys, are most of you guys on Facebook? What's this? Sorry. Took you all by surprise, didn't I? Are you guys on Facebook? Are most of you guys on Facebook? All right. You know what? There's this page that I have. It's written right at the top left corner of the screen. Yeah, you can join me there because sometimes I will post things there that I would not post in YouTube. And if you guys got any question, you can always ask me there through the messages there, if you want to. All right. It's okay, Wilfer. I know, Todd. I know. I know. There's a way to do that. Well, this more the Facebook page is more for guys like you who wants to have questions answered. In case you don't see me on live streams, and the reason why I have this live stream is because if I can help any of you guys, it'd be great. But there'll be times where I won't be streaming, and then if you have any burning questions in your heart or in your head, you can always message me. That's the reason for the Facebook page. Do I like Pascal? Do I like Carlos Santana? Yes, I do like him. I think he's a very lyrical playing. He's so melodic. But some songs I like, some songs I not too keen. But like I said again, one of my favorite solos from him is from this song called "You Can't Have Me Anytime." "You Can't Have Me Anytime" by Boss Gax. He did a solo in the middle. It was like mind blowing. Yeah. Oh, I love Sammy Hagar. Yeah, I used to love Sammy Hagar's music back then. Yes, Mark. John is too loud. You just have to like that page and that's it. And then you can text me anytime. Ian, yes, I love punk music. Liu Wave too. I used to uh, collect some of the albums. Actually, I bought a couple of albums from some of the punk rock groups. Forgot the names, It's in vinyl, and I threw it away many years ago. But they were great. Yeah, those were great days. Hmm. I love Next, the group Next, the Next, My Sharona. Yeah, I mean it's a commercial punk song, but nevertheless, it's still a punk song. The Clash, yeah. Should I stay? Should I go? Yeah, love that song. Yes, Andrew Cordell. Yes, I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. Are sometimes they get a bit too vulgar for me, but we're okay. Great band, kick ass, real tight. Wow. Hmm. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I had the pot review up, but can't release it because there's no stock in Singapore. So the product was from Myanmar, Singapore, so I had to honor them because they requested that I do not release the reviews until the stocks are in. So yeah, just hang on for a while. But I think there's a whole lot of reviews from out there. I think so about the pot go. Yep, around that. Gone are days where radio friendly songs are like 2.5 minutes or 2.45. Those were the good old days. I remember this great song, "Love Grows" by Addison Lighthouse. Some of you in my age group would probably heard of it. That was like 2 minutes point 15, if I'm not mistaken. The song was so short back then, and you don't need a whole bunch of bars to it. If the melody is catchy, that's it. That's what makes the song sell. It's what sells the song. Good melodies. You know what, Todd? Um, there were nights when I was playing at night in the 80s when I was with a band, with a rock band, where I'll be a bit under the weather. Maybe I had too much sex or I haven't been sleeping enough. I would perk myself up by drinking Coke and taking two paracetamol or aspirin, whichever you choose. Not preferably not aspirin, but paracetamol, and yeah, you get this perk. It's not a high. It's not. It's upper, all right, but it doesn't make you go bonkers. You just feel full of energy. So I used to do that, and I stopped doing that because I thought this wasn't the way to go. You know. Intro, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, ending, or maybe last two choruses, right? Intro, verse, chorus, ending. Mark, if you know about hawker food malls, you've probably been here before, right? No? Hi, David. Yes, I am a fan of Lee Redknapp. Yeah, like I was saying, I caught him back in the 80s, or I guess around 1983, 82, 83, when the whole band came down to Singapore. Yeah. Song structures, like in terms of writing, what do you mean? When I'm writing a song, when I'm writing a song, it don't really matter because sometimes um, I guess the melodies have to come first, and then you have to decide where you're taking the song. Sometimes the chorus might just end up to be a verse, and you'll start that first, meaning the chorus first, and then you have the verse and then chorus and stuff like that. There's no definite template for it. Yeah, not the way I write anyway. So you're a foodie, Mark. Yeah. So if you're a foodie, then you should get your ass over here. There's a whole lot of food here. Yeah, a lot of well, some of the stuff you might not be used to, like some of the chili stuff. Gets pretty hot, but generally they are okay. A lot of carbs, I guess. We have a whole assortment of Indian, Malay, Chinese, Eurasian, Thai. Yeah, so it's a mishmash. You can get all here. ABB or ABBA or ABBA ABA forms. Yeah, yeah, something like that. Those are pretty. How should we call it? It depends on the lyrics, actually, Ian. Um, if I have a concept of what this song is going to be about, then it depends on the lyrics, depends on the melody that I'm writing. So there's no set form. I listened to George Duke. I actually listened to him a lot back in the days, back in the late 70s, all the way to the late 80s. I'm not really a fan, but I just listened to his music because I bought a whole lot of music back then because it was all in cassette. It was really cheap. It's like $2. These all are pirated, copies of, you know, and we I didn't have not much money back then, so we buy all these cassettes. They were real cheap back then. It was like $2 or $1.50. So I would go down to these shops and grab a whole bunch of them from groups that I never heard of, people that I never heard of, and did a whole discovery of their music and go, wow, this is a great group. You know what? I discovered April Vine. You Canadians out there, you would know who are April Vine, this rock group, and I love them. They're really great. So I get to discover some of the not so popular rock group or rock bands out there, and some of the more popular ones. So it's all a sort of a music education for me. Bye, Todd. Have fun. Yes, Pascal, I like Spanish guitar. Paco de Lucia, yeah, yes. But the first guy that turned me on into classical guitar is Earl Klug. Yeah, I mean he plays all the soft jazz stuff, but I fell in love with the way he played. His phrasing is so nice, and the sound of the classical guitar. Yeah, so he was one of the few guys that really turned me on into classical guitars. Yes, April Vine. I think it's April Wine, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, there's a whole bunch, Andrew, of rock groups, mostly from the southern rock genre. Yeah, and of course you have these metal bands and all that, but real good rock groups, you can actually find a couple of them. But I'm not really up to the times yet. I'm not really keeping up with the times. Mm. McLaughlin, oh man, you're going to the deep end now, Mark. Al Miola and McLaughlin. These are the guys that are like gods to us back then, But they're so complicated. The stuff they play was so challenging that that I kind of gave up, because if I were to listen to them, I'll probably give up playing guitar. I'll probably be a clerk or a banker right now. Probably get more paid. Anyway, so it's not because I don't want to learn. It's just that the stuff they're playing it's like light years ahead of us, and we can only sit back and admire them. And after a while, it just gets too overwhelming. It's like listening to Chick Corea, right? Chick Corea, I was so how should we call it? We were so awe. We were so in awe of him that when he first came in Singapore for a concert with Frank Gambale, not mistaken, I was so disappointed because they were playing hardcore jazz and things that I don't even understand tonally. Right? What? And I only look forward to the part when Frank Gambale actually played, which was really far in between, not much. Great guitarist, but the music they were playing was so avant-garde that I didn't enjoy the concert at all. Great, Wilfer. Oh, you're talking about that concert where three of them actually performed. Yeah, that was a great one. High gain amps are not really, not really. Haven't been, like I said, I haven't been using amps for the longest time. The HP35, yes, I do. Yes, Warren Hayes, I love. Yes, Chucky, heard of him. Great music from him. And, I'm predominantly a country fan. I listen to a whole lot of country, but I haven't been keeping in touch with the younger groups. You know, I just love country music. Pascal, do I recommend the HP35? Yes, I do. I think they're great guitars, although I haven't played on one yet. But they look good. I don't know whether it can be compared to these Tokai. I don't know whether it can be compared to this. This has a very how should we call it? Very chunky neck. So I guess the HP35 has a slimmer neck, something along the line of a modern C, probably. The guitar tuning of this guitar, the tuners of this guitar tend to run, so I guess it's the same problem with the Gibson Les Paul. Probably the nut too, I don't know, it's catching. It's okay, I like this guitar. And I love the neck pickup of this guitar. It sound. Yep, tuning needs to be worked on. I'll get it. Steve Howe. Oh, I love Yes. I listened to a whole lot of Yes back in the days. I think my favorite album is the one with Tomatoes or something like. It's a real deep album actually. Really. Real mind blowing, I love Tom John Anderson's voice so much, and the whole band as a whole. Yeah, I mean when they came out with Owner of the Lonely Heart, it was really commercialized. I love the album though, still love the album. But I thought the early albums was really great. It's like like reading a fantasy book. It's like reading Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Yeah. Yes is one of my favorite groups actually. Okay, hey, it's really nice of you guys to drop by. As I said, this wasn't meant to be a stream. It was just me chilling out with you guys. Thanks for keeping me company. But I can feel the bed calling me right now. I can feel my bed calling me. Oh, Chuck, thank you. I love to play slide. I'm not really good at slide. And I have to try to do slide in open tuning, like open E and stuff like that. I think that will make my life a whole lot easier. Yes, David. I love Albert Lee. I think he's such a tasteful player. Yep. Yes, Mr. Connolly, I will. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for keeping me company. You guys are the best. So I'll see you. If I see you, I'm probably gonna do another video before the week is out, and then I'll see you on Sunday night. All right. I got something up. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but you guys have any questions? You better write it down so you can ask me then. All right. And remember the Facebook page. Just kind of like you know, just like it. And yeah, I don't know what I'm talking. I'm just sleepy. All right. So adios. Good night. Good night.